Okay.
All right, good. And the recording started.
Okay, guys. So let's begin then. Does everybody have Unity Engine and Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Community? By the way, can we make something like a poll in Discord so
Uh,
so people can vote?
I don't think so, but in any case, I am looking at the text chat if anybody has any questions or anything.
Okay. All right.
So I keep you updated.
All right. Nice. So first of all, I will go to. Okay, somebody join.
Oh,
I will
okay.
go.
Sorry. Vincent says that we can add emojis to a text as a poll. So maybe if you if you just
Okay.
send a message like, okay, as everybody does, everybody go has Unity, and then they can emoji you.
Uh, okay.
4, 5,
5, 6. Okay.
6. Yeah.
6 people. Okay, that's nice. All right then. Let's begin with creating a project. So I go to my Unity hub here, and then I create a new project. Be, we make be sure to make it a 3D project, and I will name it roll the ball, and I will create it.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Camus says that does it matter if I have the 28
No,
to.
it's totally fine. Yeah,
Oh,
it will work. It will work. So here we have our layout and our, you can see and check the UI of Unity. So first of all, I'm gonna talk about the organization of our layout. So if you go to the top right corner, you can see layout. The way I use it is that is 2 by 3, and I recommend you to use that also. So if you click 2 by 3, you go to this layout organization, organize like this. So and then if you go to project, and if you do a left click on it and drag it down here, you can organize your layout like this. And after I have organized my layout, I'm gonna go ahead to the top right corner again, and I'm gonna save my layout. I'm gonna name it my layout. So that's should be okay. Is everybody okay with that?
I think so. So maybe you can
Okay.
proceed. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, I will go ahead and save my project. I will go to save as, and I will name that, just let's name it first scene. Oops. All right, we have our scene ready. And then I will create a plain object in our hierarchy space. So if you go and do a right click on our hierarchy space, go to 3D object and go to plane, and the plane should appear in the screen like this. You can see. And then if I hit the R key on my keyboard, I can resize my plane like this. So let's do like this. And I'll just adjust my camera. So if I left click on my camera and I hit the W key on my keyboard, I can move my camera around like this. And using the right click, you can move around the space. You can look around like this in the scene. And using the scroll button, you can move around the scene like this. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this so I can adjust my camera in a better spot. and then I will as I have selected my camera, I will hit E, and then I will rotate my camera like this. So now we have a nice view of our plane. And now I will create, first of all, let's name our plane. Let's name it ground. So if you left click on ground, and then you can, if you look at the inspector space, you can see ground. You can change its name here. And then I will create a ball. So if I go to my hierarchy space and then hit right click again, I will go to 3D object and I will create a sphere. With my sphere, I will place it somewhere nice, like here. Actually, first of all, I'm gonna go to my transform component here. This is called a component, and we will talk about that later. So if I go to my transform component, I will go to these 3 dots here. I will reset my component. I'll just drag it back like this, so it's closer to the camera. And then I will name it to ball. After I have done this, our scene kind of looks boring right now, so let's add some colors to our objects. So to add colors to our objects, I will go to my project space, and I will do a right click. I'll go to create, and you should be able to find material right here under audio mixer. I go to material. I will name this red. And as I've selected this object material, I will go to albedo and I will left click here, right here. And then in the space, you can go around the circle like this. I will make a red, so I'll go to red here and just close it. And all I have to do is just left click this and just drag and drop it right on top of my ball. And now our ball has a color. Since we have added a color to our ball, I will also add color to our plane, and I will create another material for that. So I go to my project space, I hit a right click, I go to create, and then I go to material, and then I will name that, let's name it green. And then I will go to albedo again. I'll go to the green right here on the circle. And get it close to green. Let's make it a bit darker. Okay. And I close that one, and I just drag and drop it on the top of my plane. So that's how we use. So that's how it happened until now. That's how we went until now. Does anybody have any questions with anything?
Um, okay. Nobody is putting any question, but Camus has a little trouble with the screen splitting. I guess because he's watching your screen and then he's going back to the Unity window. Is that right? But everything else is fine, I believe.
Okay. Oh, this the inspector and the hierarchy.
Oh,
Also, all you have to do is, so you go to inspector, and you do a left click like this. You can drag and drop it like maybe right here if you want to, or you can just put it here again like this. Oops. Okay. I will do this again. All right. So if you hit 2 and 3, 2 by 3 again, let's do together again. So if I go to 2 by 3, I can just drag the project space down here like this. And you can adjust the size of your hierarchy or inspector space like with this line right here. Is it okay now? Okay, nice. All right. So I'm gonna talk a bit about components first of all. So as you can see, my ball has some components in its inspector space. First of all, I have my sphere collider, and let me show you how the sphere collider works. To show how the sphere collider works, I will add another component to my ball. So if I add component, I will add rigid body. Be careful not to add rigid body 2D, but rigid body itself. So I add rigid body component, and the rigid body component gives physical attributes to physics attributes to our ball. So since my ball has gravity right now, if I start my game, my ball will fall down like this. And if I don't have my gravity, oops, my ball will stay up, but it will still have the physics attributes. I will unlock his gravity again. And the way my collider works is that it reacts with other objects. So when my ball falls down, it doesn't pass through the ground. So if I didn't have my sphere collider, my ball would just go right through the ground like this. And I will also add rigid body component to the ground as well, so that our ball can react to the ground. And I will also make our ground is kinematic. I still want my ball to be reacting with my ground, but I don't want my ground to go downwards as my ball went down, because my ball had gravity, and so does my ground too. So that's how most of the components really work. You just add it here, and you give attributes to the object. Since we added our rigid body components to our objects, now I will move on to the script. Does anybody have any questions, by the way? I'm getting some.
Yes. Robin says, what exactly does is kinematic mean?
So is kinematic means that it won't move, but it will still react with other objects that have rigid body component. That's what that means.
And Ciprocator is asking, is making it kinematic better than adding rigid body constraints?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No more questions right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going on, right? There's no other questions, right?
No, there's no more questions. You can proceed.
Okay. All right. So now I will move on to moving our ball. For that, I will go to my ball object, game object, and I will create a script called ball controller. And now with a new script, I will create and add it as a component. Don't forget that scripts are also components too that you add to game objects. And every object, like a camera, directional light, ground ball, everything in this Unity engine are called game objects, so that you know. So after that, if you double click on ball controller with left click like this, it will open your code. And now, first of all, I want my ball to have a speed. So for its speed, I will create a variable called public integer move speed of the ball. and then I will create another uh, one called, I will create a rigid body object variable. I will create a rigid body variable, and I will name that to RB like this. And so my object has a rigid body component in itself attached to it, as you can see right here. And I want to manipulate it from our code. So in order to do that, I have to access it from my code. So the way I do it is that I say RB equals to get component rigid body, open brackets, close brackets, and semicolon. That's how I access my object, my component, rigid body component. And now I will go to the update function, and I'm gonna use transform dot translate. So now I'm doing the movement of our object right now. I'm writing inside it in the update function, not in the start function, because update function is called every single frame in the game, but start is called before the first frame update. So as you can see right here, that's why I don't write it in the start function. I want to be able to move my object at all times while my game is being played. So if I say transform.translate, I will say input dot get access horizontal, and I will multiply that by our speed and by time dot delta time. So time dot delta time provides the time between the previous frame and the current frame, so you have much more smoother movements throughout the game. So this was the x, the horizontal coordinate. I don't want my object to move in the y coordinate. I want my object to move in the z coordinate because it's a 3D game right now we're making. And I will say input dot get access vertical times move speed times time dot delta time, and you close it off with a semicolon. So that's it. That's how we will be able to move our object using the WASD keys. And you might ask, where does this horizontal name come from, or otherwise, where does this vertical name come from? It's actually inputted in the input settings. So let me show that to you first of all. So if I go to my Unity editor, I go to edit, and then I go to project settings. I'll just drag my project settings right next to my inspector. And here's my input manager. I go to axes, and if I go to horizontal right here, as you can see, the name of it is horizontal. The alt negative is A and D, and you can name it whatever you want, whatever you desire. So if I just name this to be X or horizontal movement, you can name it whatever you want. But if I change the name in the input manager, I will also have to change it inside my code. So right here. So since I made it X inside my Unity editor, I also have to change its name right here. So let's stay with horizontal for now. All right. So if I begin my game, I go to my ball object. Oops. Oh, I forgot to turn on my sphere collider. So let's begin our game again. Okay, it should work now. Okay, nice. So if you hit the WSD keys right now, it won't work. because we haven't given a value for our speed. And inside our script, we only declared it. We haven't given a value, but we made it to be public. So if you declare it as public, it also shows up in our Unity editor. So if you go back to our script component, you can see our speed right here. And also, I will change my speed here to 10 before I start the game. If you start the game with 0 speed and then you change the speed while the game is being played, this the change won't be saved since you will change it while the game is being played. So let me show you an example. So I start with 0 here. I begin my game. I have 0 speed right now. I will make it to 10. And then I will be able to move my object. However, if I stop my game now, as you can see, it's still 0. So you have to change the speed before you start the game like this. So the change is saved at all times. So now if I stop my game, it's saved. All right, does anybody have any questions on right now?
Hmm. Boogie Bean is typing, so let's just
Okay.
wait a little bit. Oh, okay. It's more about technical issues. Yes, this is recorded, so it's okay if you can see the whole stream right now. It's going to be posted after this workshop ends. So,
Okay.
okay, okay, you can see the other question online.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are the difference between dynamic and kinematic bridge bodies? Okay. Get a compiler. So let me answer that question first. So dynamic bridge bodies will be able to move at all times. So if I begin my game right now, and then I set it is kinematic, um, so as you can see, if I make my object to be is kinematic, my ball, it will just stay in the air because our object has to be stay put when we activate is kinematic. So that's why we make our ground object to be kinematic, so it won't move, but it will still react to our ball object or our ball or vice versa, you know? So that's the difference, yeah. I
Okay.
hope I answered your question.
Uh, okay. He he posted the same one, caltropis.
How can I see the compile error on the script? Can we look over the code again? Yeah, sure. Let's go over to the code again. Let me show you in a like this. Can you tell us where you got the compiler error? If you're able to. Okay. That's good to hear. Okay. Uh, um, So there is a question as what is the difference between kinematic and static? So static is not attached to the rigid body itself, but static, how can I say? I will check that in a second. I don't remember right now. So I will tell it to you in a bit if I remember. So okay, since we have been able to move our ball, right now, I will create a camera controller script for our main camera so that the camera can follow our ball at all times. So I will add a component. It will be called camera controller. Create and add. Is everybody okay right now? Is there any questions?
Right now, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go to my camera controller script. I will create a variable called, first of all, I will create a variable called public game object player so that we will reference our ball like this. Let me show it to you. So our player game object appears here, and I will drag and drop my ball to here so that it references to my ball object from the script. And I also create a vector tree called offset. Here, close a bit. And I will set my offset to the position of my camera minus the player's position. And then when I go to my update function, I will make my camera's position equal to the position of my player, position plus the offset. So this is the position of our camera. I only write transform.position because this gives the transform attached to this game object. So this gives the transform component of the game object that is attached to. So if you go back, this is the transform component right here. And vector t is just like the x, y, and z, like the coordinates of my game object. So all right. If I go back to my script now, and then I begin my game, as you can see, our ball is being followed by a camera, but the camera. Oh, okay, I see why. Okay. I put it down like this. Get it a bit closer. You can see we can now move. Oh, okay. More object like this. Okay. Does anybody have any questions right now regarding the script? So I will be keep updating the position of my camera by adding the difference between my camera and the player to the player's the position. Is everything okay?
Yes, I believe everything's okay.
Okay.
Nobody's got any questions so far.
All right. So as I begin my game again, our camera follows our ball. this. So only thing that our ball can do right now is just move around. So I also want to make it jump at the same time. So let's add let's add something to our script for that. But first of all, I want to add some physics to my ball so it can be bouncy. So if I go to my project space and I do right click, I go to create, and then I go to physics material, not physics material 2D, but physics material. I go to physics material. I don't really need friction right now. I'll just set my bounciness to 1 like this. And then I will go to, wait, just let me rename it. All physics. And then if I go to my ball game object, as you can see in the component space, I'll just type my physics material right here. I've created my physics material, and now I'll go to my script to make my ball jump. So I go to my ball controller, and first of all, I will create a Boolean variable called on the ground, and I will set that to true. So our ball will be, actually, you know what? Let's first space. I'll use a if I say input dot get down is jump. This name also comes from settings, and then hit the spacebar. Jump. Spacebar is attached to jump. So when I add the force to my rigid body, so in order to do that, I will go ahead and add force, new vector 3, and then I will put a 0 in x and 10f in y, so it can go upwards when I hit the spacebar, and 0f, there's no comma there, and then I will make force mode dot impulse, which will add an instant force to our ball upwards. This will add an instant force to our ball when we hit the spacebar. So if I go back to my script and then I begin my game, I can make my ball jump how much ever I want. I can hit the space for infinite amount of times and it still go upwards. So let's play around with that a bit. I will make it so that our ball will be only able to jump once it hits the ground. So to do that, we will go to our script. I will go to the ball controller, and then I will create my Boolean variable this time, which is called on the ground, and I will set that to true. And then I will create a private void on collision, enter, method. Is that a question?
No, at least not in this channel, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then I will say that if collision is the object that our ball hits, that's the variable we refer to, variable name. The variable name refers to that object that our ball collides to. Collision.gameObject dot name equal, oops, I do. Okay. Equals ground. So when our ball hits the ground, I want my on the ground to be true. And then when I go back to my update function, if I hit the jump key and my ball is on the ground, when I hit the jump key, I will add force to my ball and I will make my on the ground variable to false. So every time when it hits the ground, it will go back to true, and when I hit space again, it will go back to false again. So that's how it works out. Now if I go back to my script, and then I start my game, as you can see, I can only make it jump once it hits the ground, like this. Does anybody have any questions?
So far, I believe not.
Okay. Can you guys just give me 1 second, please? I will just turn off my screen for a second.
I'm going. If you are talking, we can't hear you. Or...
Yeah, yeah, I forgot that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I will just go over everything again. So now, what we will do is I will move on to the third part of our workshop. So I will add some obstacles to our course, so on our plane, and when our ball hits the obstacles, our ball will be destroyed, and the game will restart. So we will respawn again. Is that for us?
No.
Okay. Okay. So our ball will respawn again, and the scene will be loaded again. So let's do that. Firstly, we will create a script called collision handler. So C# script collision handler. Okay, yeah, and I will also create my. First of all, I will create a game object, a create empty game object, and I will name that obstacles. And then I will create a 3D object called a cube, for example, and I'll reset its transform component. Reset. Okay. Let me just play around with this, and you can also do it at the same time if you're doing with me. I will give you 2 minutes for this. So let's do that. this.
We have a question from Brian Kim. It says, I was wondering where you learned to code in Unity. Is there a specific YouTube channel you watch to learn?
There are a bunch of channels actually. So there was one called Brackeys. Brackeys he stopped YouTube. Besides that, I went to I watch actually go to if you go to Udemy, there's some Unity C Sharp courses, and I think those courses really are nice, and also they're on discount all the time, so you can just get them for quite a good price. On YouTube, there's not a channel that I mainly watch. I just search for what I have to do, and I just find out stuff usually. But yeah, that's all I can say. And I
Mhm.
and I actually started learning Unity by going to a course which was physical. I would go to the place itself and they would teach me how to code. Yeah, that's it. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, it says thanks. And another one from Camo, it says, and where can we learn the specific code for the game that you're using?
The this specific code,
Yes.
learn the specific. So the best thing you can do is I have attached the references. So if you go to
Okay.
Unity documents and scripting API, you can see how every method or variable works. I mean, if you look at the Google Slides as well, you can see the links in the last slide. So you can see how the code works from there.
Excellent.
Every,
It says
every,
thank you.
okay, you're welcome. Just a second, please. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
A person is not able to view the screen, but he can only see. She can only see me. What does she need to do for that?
Mm, excuse me, the
So she can't see my screen, but she can see me only.
really? Is she watching the stream, or
Yeah, she can only see me.
okay? I don't really know why. Uh,
And also, in addition to the question that was asked previously, you can also learn the code by. I mean, imagine you can just write YouTube, for example, simple movement in C sharp, simple movement 3D in C sharp. You can just type something like that, or you can say how to make a camera follow the player in YouTube. So if you search the videos by their names, you'll be able to find them because there are a bunch of them. Um, yeah, so
also, uh, can I ask where is she watching the stream? It's
on her laptop.
yes, but is she in this on Discord, or she's looking at the?
Yeah, she's on Discord.
Okay, then I believe maybe she just okay. Since right now you're sharing your whole screen. Uh, we are watching your screen, but I don't really know why she can see this stream. She just needs to click on the stream screen. Okay, I don't really know how why. Mm, she can what she can do is close the stream and then click again on your username in the voice chat, and then just click on watch the stream, and that's it. Let's see if it works. And also another thing, Payam, is asking, what is the relation between obstacle and the cubes?
Oh, so the only reason I have done that is that I can organize my hierarchy. So this is just a empty game object. I'll just moving on to that. So obstacles is the empty game object. I was just gonna put my obstacle, the cubes inside the obstacle, so I can organize um, my hierarchy. So that's only the relationship. Obstacle is the parent, and the cubes are the children.
Okay, he says thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I will pace myself a bit. So I will go back. Okay. Has everybody done put some obstacles in the course and cubes? Can you make a poll for that? Like a emoji thingy?
Okay, so what do you want me to ask? If they have their obstacles ready?
If they yeah. I'm going quite fast, so they might not be able to watch the stream and do it at the same time, so I get that.
Okay, I already sent the question. So please, people react with an emoji if you have.
Okay.
Okay, nobody is reacting. So okay, we got one.
Okay. When is enough? When is enough? Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. We can stick to the. Okay,
Yeah,
we have one yes and one no.
that's okay. I will just keep on moving then. Um, I'll go to my collision handler script. Firstly, I will go to my cubes. I will select all of them by. So I click the first one and then I click the last one by using the shift on my keyboard, left shift, and then I select all of them at the same time. And I will just drag and drop my script right into the inspector space of my cubes. So all of my cube have the same script attached to the component. Yeah. So I go to my collision handler, and then first of all I will create a float variable called level load delay, and I'll set it to 1f. So this will be this will be used when our ball hits the object, and there should be a time space before our game, the ball respawns again, so that our ball doesn't respawn instantly. So the scene is not um, called instantly. I will just give a level of for like 1 second almost. Also, to play with the scenes, I will have to use the Unity engine dot scene management library. Let's just delete all of this. We don't need this. And then I will create a private void called load first scene. I will open brackets, curly brackets, and then I will say scene manager dot load scene 0. And you might be wondering where does 0 come from? I will show that as fast as possible. So if I go back to my Unity editor, I go to my file, I left click on it, and again I go to build settings. As you can see, right now in my scenes inbuilt, there's nothing. So I will have to drag and drop my first scene, in the scenes inbuilt, and when I drag and drop it there, its index is 0. As you can see, so that's where the 0 comes from. Okay, I'll just close this. You don't have to build and run. You don't have to do that. I'll just close this. I go back to my script. Looking good. and then I will create private void on collision, enter again. Nice. So then I will see if collision dot game object dot tag is equal to player, and then I will say destroy collision dot game object, and I will invoke the scene. Invoking means that calling a method. So invoke method calls a method in a specified amount of time, so that's why I used declare the level of delay right here. So, and I will do like this. I will write the name of our method right below, private void load first scene, this one. Oops. And I will write level of delay right next to it. So we said that if the balls, if our ball object tag is equal to player, then it should destroy the object that the object that has collided to our obstacles. So when I go back to my script, I go to my ball game object, and then I will change its tag to player. And also, I have to go to my camera controller, because since my camera controller is still attached to my game object, ball game object, when the ball game object is destroyed, our camera will reference the missing object, so it will be null. So let me show it to you in a second, just like this. So I like this. As you can see, missing reference exception. I just put my console here. Has been resolved by the still trying to access it. This happens because of the camera still being attached to the objects, even though it's destroyed, because it's still updating the coordinates. It says that your script should either check if it's null or you should not destroy the object. So I want to destroy the object. Then let's check if it's null or not. If I go back to my camera controller, if I say if player is not equal to null, then update my position, then update my camera's position. If I go back and I begin my game, we won't get that error anymore. So the last thing we're gonna do today, okay, is there any questions by the way?
Right now, no, we don't have more questions.
Okay. So last of all, let me finish this place quickly because I think you guys have classes right now. Last thing I'm gonna do is at a level finish. So when our ball reaches to the end, the game, it will reset the scene. So I create an empty game object, and I'll name that to level finish. I'll add a component. I will add a box collider 3. It's a box collider. I will reset its transform component here. I'll drag it like this. I'll put it here. And then I want to edit my collider. So if I hit shift, it's gonna go like this. I'm just gonna move around like this. So I don't want my object to collide with this, but rather pass through it. So I will set my box collider to is trigger. So when our ball is inside this box collider, or when our ball triggers the box collider, the game will restart. So I got to create. I create another script. I will name it level finish too. Level finish. I add my component to that. I open it. Delete all this. You don't need it. I will use the same variable I have used previously. So I will set that to 1f again. And then, yes, this here too. Using Unity Engine .c management. All right. And then private. I want to call my scene again. Private void load first scene manager dot load scene 0. And then I will create a method which is private void, not on collision enter but on trigger enter. So like this, trigger enter. So this refers to our game object, our ball, this one. So I will say if other dot game object dot tag is equal to player, then I want you to destroy other dot game object, and I want you to invoke the scene like I've done in the collision handler. So load first scene level load delay, finish it off with a semicolon, and that's basically it. So if I start my game now, do some pro gamer moves, I go through, I pass through it, and here we go. That's it. Is there any questions right now?
I believe no. We don't have more questions.
Okay. You guys can feel free to ask right now. Yeah. Is that a question?
Oh, no, it says it was awesome.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Payam, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Yeah, that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen, and I hope you were able to understand. Of course, you can always ask me any questions. And lastly, don't forget to check out our Google Slides as well, the one I linked in the text chat. And also don't forget to do the feedback tutorial form so that we can get better at our tutorials. Don't forget to do that, please. Thank you so much to everyone. I will get an answer to your question about what's the difference between static and kinematic, by the way. I won't forget that. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's it, guys.
that's it. Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, well, I would like to thank everyone for coming today. Thank you for being a part of the UBC Game Dev. Yeah, and that's it.
Excellent. Okay then. So see you then, and thank you all for coming, and see you on the next tutorial.
Yeah, hope to see you guys again.
Okay, I'm going to leave now, Logan. So thank you so much, and it was awesome. So see you on the next tutorial.
What did you say? Sorry.
No, that it was awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, okay, thank you. I didn't understand. All right.
Okay, see ya.